Let's talk about how to convert positive responses into actual meetings in the exact way that allows my agency, Vintascale, to generate over $250,000 per month in deal flow for our clients at the time of putting this together. By the way, it's August 25th, 2025 as a timestamp or a date stamp. Meeting conversion is important because anyone can get a positive response or a lead, but not everyone can convert it into a meeting or a meeting ready lead, which we would consider, in that case, actual deal flow. Today, we'll fix that. In this guide, I've included everything you need to know. I promise, including screenshots of actual email threads that led to meetings and closes on deals with all the proof you need in the 2K range and up, almost entirely over email. I should add that in. I will never ever overcomplicate things for you. I will only tell you exactly and only what you need to know to scale your business. Please note that I'm using these exact same tactics that I'll be going over in this video to scale my third business, Vintascale, my marketing agency, in real time to 7 figures. And all examples included in this video are from campaigns I have launched for Vintascale, several of which I have done live on YouTube. I've linked those videos that I'm referring to in this document. The link to this document will be included in the description. This is all free. By the time you finish binging my content and this document, you will be amongst the most lethal cold emailers in the world, the 1% of the 1%. Now, for who I am, if you are new here, my name is Pablo. I'm the founder of Vintascale, a marketing agency, a B2B marketing agency. We currently generate over $250,000 in pipeline per month for our clients with cold email. I'm making this video because my goal is very simple. It's to help you make more money. To scale, you either bring in more business, so deal flow, charge more, or close at a higher rate. We generate deal flow for B2B businesses by building and running cold email client acquisition systems for high ticket B2B businesses, thereby bringing in new deal flow into the business, allowing you to scale very quickly. I make no income claims. Results are not typical. You have to actually execute and work hard. Some proof of what we do, as always, included in all of these documents. Here's a 70 grand deal flow campaign, one of several campaigns that we launched just a couple weeks ago for an active client of ours. It encompasses 2 deals right here. Everything's broken down. I include case studies, link to the video, screenshots of active clients, behind the scenes breakdowns, how we build the architecture, more proof, 66 grand, 33 grand, March and April respectively, client testimonial interviews. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. So campaign strategy, we got to talk about campaign strategy because this makes your life harder or easier once you actually get a response. So if you're here, you're watching this video, if you're sending cold emails, you've gotten here in one of 3 ways. Or if you've gotten a response from a lead, you've gotten there in one of 3 ways. You sent them a direct pitch campaign, a lead magnet campaign, or a Loom campaign. Now, to get this right, to convert these people into a meeting, right, an actual deal flow, we must start with the campaign strategy before the actual initial email is sent. Why? Because all this ties together. And if you get this wrong from the start, you will be fighting an uphill battle. So let's rewind a bit and review campaign strategy. Below is a screenshot from the cold email money printer blueprint. You can get that for free via the link in my description. If you haven't already, you should get it. It's amazing. It shows you how to literally print money and meetings, whatever you want with cold email if you have a B2B business. So you can see here that we have 3 primary campaign strategies in blue: Loom campaigns, lead magnet campaigns, and direct pitch campaigns. So we're going to break everything down and include screenshots, email threads, responses, how I've made all of these work. So you can just copy exactly what I do and make money. This is all free. There's no course around this, at least as of this date. So Loom campaigns, they are great for you. Why? Because they're great at building trust. They're bad for the client if you're doing this on behalf of a client. Why? Because they got to make a whole Loom. They got to record a whole Loom. It's time intensive. It takes up people's time. Your client doesn't want, if you're doing marketing on behalf of a client, your client doesn't want to have to do Looms. It's time intensive. It's also not useful for so going after bigger budget, AKA rich clients, as they don't have time anyway to watch your little Loom. They don't. You got to drill this into your head. They can recognize a good offer, these affluent clients. They can recognize a good offer when they see one, and they will look you up. I'm not going to guide you to going after broke clients. That's what I'm not going to do. I want you to make money. In the exact same, I'm only going to show you what has worked for me. So they can recognize a good, by the way, I've gone after broke clients. That's why I can talk about this stuff. And I've included the screenshots here. So they can the rich, affluent clients, the clients you want, whether they have money or not, can recognize a good offer when they see one, and they'll look you up anyway on their own time. So Looms, like they're okay, but I use that stuff for really just testing a market. If I'm trying to penetrate a new market on my behalf for Vintascale, not for a client. So here are a couple of screenshots of campaigns we've run. Again, it's August 25th today. So this is in July. This is about 2 months ago. almost 2 months ago. So here we are. So 2 campaigns. I'll zoom in a little bit if you're watching this on a phone or something. So check that out. So ranging between 1.27% reply rate, 1.34% reply rate, but a great positive reply rate because it's Looms. It's easy to say yes to, right? We had a decent amount of sends, enough to make this statistically significant. Bounce rates, don't even worry about that. My bounce rate's never going to be higher than 0.5% unless I really mess something up. But the positive reply rate, like this looks like a money printer, right? Reply rate over 1%, positive reply rate over 30% on both. You can print money with this. I just didn't care to run this anymore because it's a Loom campaign. And again, it takes a lot of time. I was making Looms all day. I don't got time for that stuff. I got clients to fulfill for. Anyway, total deal value, total deal flow on this campaign is just under $9,000. So the first campaign at the top right here, the first one of the 2 right here, they, that first campaign generated us some okay deal flow. Okay, so this, my bad. So this $8.7 is just from that. Am I right here? Yes, it's just from that first campaign. So that first campaign, $9,000 in deal flow. The offer was modified slightly to be an intro offer. We stopped running this campaign as direct pitch / direct response campaigns we'll talk about later are almost always more efficient than Loom campaigns. The client we go after, again, doesn't have time for Looms anyways. Looms are just good. They're good for cutting through a new market. So $9,000 in deal flow from this first campaign. Please note, for full transparency, each deal in these 2 campaigns for this intro offer was valued at about 2.1K. It's actually $2,173 was my fee. Oh, I have it written right here for this offer to be exact. Mid-ticket. So we don't operate in this price range anymore. Otherwise, our deal flow would be way higher on these campaigns. But that's the exact offer price range that I was running. So that's the first campaign. And then the second campaign that you can see here with 4,300 sends, I cranked that a bit more. And thus there is more deal flow. So just a bit over $15,000 in deal flow. Now this is not close. This is deal flow, right? So the second campaign generated us over $15,000 in deal flow. So total between both campaigns is about $24,000 in deal flow. If you close anywhere at 30 to 40%, I'm at this time, still handling all the sales calls myself. I close very high. You're looking at about $8,000 to $9.6,000 just off of these 2 campaigns, which we spun up in just a couple hours. I say we, but it was me. Of course, you must convert them into meetings, and this is why we're here. This is why we're talking about this, right? So the only reason we send Looms is to build trust. Please drill that into your head. The only reason we send Looms is to build trust. If you have a decent amount of social proof on the internet, content on the internet, good landing page, you can build trust like that. You don't got to send all these Looms. Now, the only reason why we send Looms is to build trust. They are great for that purpose, but only broke clients will need all of this trust building as they are highly skeptical and price sensitive. So all this really starts from who you're targeting. Think deeply about that, which is why I go deep into targeting in so many other videos. Now, let's break down these campaigns. Let's look at how I actually converted these guys into meetings and then how I actually close some of these deals. So I've screenshotted everything for you. Now, let's, which campaign was this? Oh, this was Boutique Recruiters Loom campaign, 3 to 10 employees. So this was campaign number 2. We're going to look at some screenshots of the copy and replies and responses from this second campaign right here. So the more lucrative campaign. So the best performing versions of copy in this campaign were email 1A and then email 2. So I tested 3 versions of the first email and just 1 version of the second email where I just went all in and I'm just like, here's what I'll do for you, blah, 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 blah. So email 1, 1A, you can see I had 10 replies from that one and a 40% positive reply rate, which is just people saying, sure, send me the Loom or let me see the Loom. So it's not technically deal flow yet. You haven't like, there's no like, interest has not been expressed that they want to do business with you or meet with you. So here's a copy for email 1 version A. I've scratched out any sensitive information and you can see when this was created and when it was sent. So it was created July 7th and this was sent on July 15th. I don't know why the delay, don't ask me, but you have the dates. So that's the copy right there. Very simple. I'll let you review it and dissect it on your own time, but it was hi, first name, came across company name while looking at industry in state. Figure this might be relevant. Whoops. Would you be interested in hiring, or would you be interested in a service that automatically connects you to hiring managers who are actively looking for agency support? These guys are staffing agencies I'm reaching out to. And then offer statement. So not a great offer, but good enough for the kind of client I was going after. Social proof line. Again, I'm being extra generous with the social proof here, and extra generous with like the believability of the offer. In other words, I'm going in with a really small intro offer because these guys, they're not the highest budget clients that I was going after, as you can see by the price range of the deals. So as everything adds up pretty nicely. This is very mid ticket. It's very easy. We're talking about businesses here. We're not talking about like consumers. You can sell them $2,000 products or services, and it's not a lot of money. So this is the copy. And then a little PS line, just letting them know I have industry experience and I'm one of them. And then a friendly opt-out. So that's email 1A. Email 1A. They all look the exact same. This is all email 1A. Here's a copy for email 2. Again, I just dumped, right? I should have crossed some of that stuff out there, but don't be weird and look these people up. I trust you guys. So that's a copy for email 2. I'm just like, hey, I know you probably get a ton of these emails, but if your company hasn't tried automated cold email to get whatever it is that you want, here's something our clients really value. We'll do this for you, guarantee you this. If we don't hit that target, you don't pay a cent. If the leads aren't any fit, we'll make it right. We're so confident it works, we'll put everything in writing. Should I send you a quick loom? So I'm doubling back on the loom. And change the call to action for email 2. So in fact, I should digress for a bit and just show you how to actually convert these into meetings now, since that's the entire focus of this guide. This is Loom campaigns. All right. So here's what successful meeting conversion and response handling can look like for Loom campaigns. Just note that it's dynamic. I should put and other campaign types as well. So just note that this is dynamic. This response handling is dynamic, meaning these aren't static pre-written responses. You're going to have to be able to adapt in the moment and be willing to walk away when their response sounds funny or when it just gets to be a little too much. So I'm going to zoom in. So this is email 1 at the bottom, as we just went over. Zoom in so you guys can see this a little better. Something like that. All right. And then no response to email 1A was received. So I sent her email 2 48 hours later. All right. So that's what you see at the top. Now, if we look here at the very bottom, it's the bottom is the oldest reply and then the top is the most recent. So at the bottom, she said, sure, send the loom, as you can see there. And then I'm like, okay, so thanks for getting back to me. I'm putting it together for you now. I'll have the video over to you in the next 15 minutes. What I'm doing there is just buying myself some time to record the loom. As I mentioned earlier, this is very time intensive stuff. So you're going to need to buy yourself some time. And she was just nice about it and replied to confirm. All right. So now I've linked to the actual loom that I sent to that client. Again, don't be weird. Just watch the loom if you need a reference point. So that's the loom. Again, at the time of recording this and putting this document together, August 25th, 2025, that loom is working. I can't tell you in a year if that loom is still up and running. Anyway, so I sent the loom as such. I embedded it. So note how I embedded it and note how long it took me to send that, right? So I replied at 1:39 p.m. saying I'll send it to her in 15 minutes. So I should have sent this to her, just before 2 o'clock. I ended up sending it to her at 2:30. So don't do that. Don't be like me. Don't do that. Especially if you promised that you'd send it in 15 minutes, because those little things matter. Especially when you're dealing with more affluent clients, those little things matter. Promptness matters. Also note how I pushed for a call already in this. So I said, hi, first name, I put this loom together for you, see below. Curious to know your thoughts once you've had a chance to check it out. If there is any interest, I'd be more than happy to discuss further on a quick call later this week. And I just embedded it in there. If you don't know how to do that, just look that up. I use Smartly, by the way. So she replied saying, she watched it. And then she replied saying, it sounds interesting, but that she's not ready. The interest is all I need for me personally to turn this into a meeting. I just need a little hint of interest, and then I'll get them on a call. I'll get them on a call and say, hey, it's better we talk now, and that you at least have the information, right? I won't pressure you. I just want to let you know what this is about, so that we don't waste anyone's time. But anyway, so just being honest here, like I'm not ready yet. When a client or a prospect says I'm not ready yet, that's an unmistakable sign of budget issues. I'm just letting you know. Okay. So that was that in a nutshell, and I'll let you see the response. The link is in the document. The link to the document is in the description. I won't go over all the responses. But anyway, so she said it's interesting. She's just not ready yet. But here's how I go in for the kill exactly. So if they need more time, cool, that's fine. I have no problem walking away. I have other things to do. I'll follow up in a couple months. No pressure. I know my offer is gold. So take a look at how I respond to her saying she needs more time, and then take a look at her response. So I'm like, hey, first name, thanks for the context. No worries at all. Perhaps I'll follow up in 2 to 3 months. When things are set in stone, you let me know. Ball is in their court. And then I finish off by saying, that being said, I always push for a chat. I gave her some clarity on the offer and her skepticism. And then I said, that being said, I always push for a chat rather than jumping in head first so we can take a deeper look. Right? I always push for a chat rather than just jumping in head first and pitching a service so that we can take a deeper look if this makes sense to both of us. Because you're right. Our service may not be a fit for whatever it is that you're offering. So it's better that we just talk about it. So now here's the core meeting conversion message. This is going to be a staple across every campaign strategy. This is like the kill shot. This is you pulling the trigger. This is the conversion message. This is how you do it. Any experienced cold emailer knows this move. So this one right here, this is how you convert. You suggest a time and then you say, alternatively, you can book something in my calendar here, and you provide them the link. So you can see that there. So are you available tomorrow at 3 p.m. EST? Alternatively, feel free to suggest a time that works for you this week, or you can slot something in my calendar here. Put the calendar link. And that's it, right? And you can see her response there. Once I gave her the clarity and put the ball in her court, she said, yeah, I'd love to chat and see if it's a great fit. And then, I went in for the kill shot. And that's it. So that meeting was booked, and we had that meeting 24 hours later after these messages. Deal closed, quick 2.1K. Now, note the timeline and why cold email is so powerful. That's just a side note. The emphasis, side note. Note the timeline and why cold email is so powerful for injecting deal flow and cash flow into your business. The campaign was spun up and launched on July 7th. The meeting was booked on July 9th. The meeting was had on July 10th. The deal was closed that same day, at least verbally or in writing, on July 10th. The cash collected following week. Deal flow brought into the business in 48 hours. Cash flow brought into the business in less than 1 week. See below for post-meeting response. Let me zoom in. There you are. Hey, talk to my husband. We're just getting the money situated. We'll follow up next week. We'll move forward with payment. Looking forward to working with you soon. Boom. Closed, right? I followed up with her after the meeting, and she followed with me and saying she's good to go. Boom. Deal flow, meeting closed. We're good. So that's how you close and convert a Loom campaign. And that's how you get deal flow. And then that is how you convert them into meetings. And that is how you get cash flow. You turn deal flow into cash flow. So those are Loom campaigns. I hope that clears things up. Let's talk about lead magnet campaigns. I loathe lead magnet campaigns. You're not going to hear anyone else say this, but I hate lead magnet campaigns. So lead magnet campaigns are great for you in terms of building trust, just like Loom campaigns. They are bad, and they can be bad for you because they're hard to get right. The lead magnets have to be damn near perfect. But anyway, they're great for you. They're bad for your client if you're doing this on behalf of a client. We have clients. We don't make them make lead magnets. It's time intensive. The same points about Loom campaigns apply to lead magnet campaigns, but times 10. They're very easy to get wrong. You get a lead magnet wrong, you will ruin trust. So here are some screenshots of some lead magnet campaigns that we have ran in the past. Again, it's August 25th today. This I grabbed a couple from June. So the bottom one is June 20th. The top one is June 25th. As you can see, I didn't send very much, 1,000 in the top one, 500 in the bottom one. Whatever, just because I get tired of them, right? So you'll likely have the highest response rate or reply rate from lead magnet campaigns. So you look at the bottom, it's 2.31% reply rate. The top one is 1.11% reply rate. Anyway, so these are a couple of lead magnet campaigns we used for testing back in June 2025, this year. It was really just to test deliverability. We peaked at a 2.31% reply rate. Unless the lead magnet is stellar, you are not getting any result. You are not getting any results you can't get with a Loom campaign or a direct pitch campaign. So they know you're here to sell something. You're just like, hey, just lead magnet campaigns are dumb. They're like, hey, let me offer you this free thing. You already have their email. Like, you do that to get people's email address in an opt-in or a landing page, but you already have these people's email address. So why are you sending them a lead magnet? To build trust? Right? Your offer should be trustworthy. So they know you're here to sell something. Stop with this freebie nonsense. So my stance on this is just to get to the point, especially when dealing with richer clients or companies who have 10 plus employees. Get to the point, say what you want, which is usually to gauge interest. So lead magnet campaigns are almost always a waste of time because your lead magnet will only work in your favor if it's damn near perfect, i.e. immediately actionable. The lead magnet has to be immediately actionable and makes the prospect fall in love with you. I used to send lead lists. I'll give you a list of leads. They can go to Apollo and get this themselves with a free trial. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's not. And I used to send lists of recently funded companies, and then what they, they might say yes, and then never respond anyway. So either your lead magnet will only work in your favor if it's damn near perfect. I mean, boldest. Number two, hold on. Meaning you lead. Okay. Only works if it. Okay. So lead magnets only work if it gives them an actual reason to meet with you. Meaning, if there's another problem that they want to solve and they now trust you to do so. And if your lead magnet hasn't led them down another problem, if it hasn't built enough trust, meaning because it was so insanely valuable, then it's just a waste of time. They're not going to want another step. They're just going to be greedy and take the lead magnet. And they're almost always a waste of time because it is only doable at scale if it can be fulfilled with AI, which usually means it's not that special or exclusive. So what will likely happen is prospects will bite at the lead magnet, then never respond. Same thing with Loom campaigns, just the stats are not working in your favor. So now let's talk about, like, at least Loom campaigns. It's just you're giving them more info and then saying, okay, if you like what you see, just let me know and we'll jump on a quick call. So let's talk about direct pitch, which at the 10K deal range and up is what you should be focused on. I mean, any deal range, or any deal range for that matter. So the reason why I like direct, by the way, this is a screenshot from the cold email money printing blueprint thing. So anyway, reason why I like direct pitch campaigns is because although they get the lowest response rates by a lot, they get the highest quality leads into meetings, which means your deal flow is the highest quality possible, which means your deal flow is actual deal flow and not fake numbers. I would say the best call to actions for direct pitch campaigns, because the campaign is pretty much entirely dictated by the call to action. I would say the best call to actions for direct pitch campaigns are interest-based call to actions. So things like, would you be open to hearing more about this? Spin tax that. And then meeting-based call to action. So would this be worth a chat? See below for examples. So I included some examples of successful campaigns that did end up converting into meetings, closing, so on and so forth. So this one right here, very, very, very simple. Hey, first name, I came across your company while looking at, X type of companies in Y state. Quick question, if I can help you land 5 meetings per month with businesses that need accounting on a performance basis, would you be interested in speaking? This is a very low budget, very easy, intro-friendly offer, very easy to say yes to. And you can see the response. They just said, I would be. So sometimes you will not, with direct pitch, direct response, sometimes you will not get the meeting right away, like in the above example. In most cases, they will ask for further clarity, but at least you're not spending time recording Looms. So let's take a look at another example. This is an example of someone who just needed a ton of clarity, and that's fine. I have no problem if it's productive and if I can help them out as a client. So here's the first email right here. I'm getting bombarded with notifications for a campaign right now. I should have put my Slack on Do Not Disturb. Hold on. There we go. That sounds annoying me. All right, so you can see the initial email right there. Pretty standard. Again, similar offer. And then they ask for clarity. So they say, hey, Pablo, what about appointment setting of new prospects? Do you do that too? And then I answered his question. I'm like, thanks for getting back to me. Yes, appointment setting is included. We set up, do blah, blah, blah. We do blah, blah, blah. And then we do everything into the actual setting of the appointment. Would you be open to a quick call tomorrow at 3 p.m. or Friday at 2 p.m. to walk through how it could work for your company? So I just answered his question and I looped it back to the meeting. I'm always tying it back to the meeting. I'm pushing for the meeting. And then he comes back with another clarifying question. He's like, are you referring to potential clients or potential hires? Blah, 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 blah. So he has another question about how we actually get him deal flow, or who we get him deal flow with. And I answered his question and then I push for a call again. So I answered his question and I'm like, looks like we're on the same page. Is this worth a chat? Then he replies with, sure, I'm located in blah, 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 blah. So earlier Eastern Standard Time would work. And then here's a kill shot, textbook kill shot. Just like last time, you suggest a time, then say, alternatively, you can slot yourself in here with the calendar link. So I'm like, thanks, first name. Does next week, Monday at 2 p.m. work? Alternatively, feel free to pick a time in my calendar that works for you. And then I put the link there. That's it. So we did not close this deal that I just screenshotted, thankfully, because once we got on the call, it became clear to me that there was a mismatch. We wouldn't have been able to help them. And they weren't really a fit in terms of the client we look for. So takeaway. This is how you do it. I just need to show you how to get to the kill shot. Handle reply, know the campaign strategy and what it comes with, and the amount of trust you're going to have to build up, and the amount of time it's going to take, and then handle responses dynamically, always tying back to a meeting, and then as soon as you can, just go for the kill shot. So takeaways. In every reply that you send to their reply, you should be tying it back to a call. We're not here to play games, and neither are they. Get to the point. This is why I loathe lead magnet campaigns. Another takeaway, always bring it back to the meeting, like I said before. So you have to tell people what the next step is and where to go. This is what the call to actions are for. This is why I keep saying, is this worth a chat? Should we talk about this? Can we talk about this? Can we jump on a call? Always bring it back to the meeting and tell people what the next step is. Tell them where to go. Next is you have to be dynamic. Static AI responses won't work, especially when you're just starting out. Be human, be dynamic, be short, be clear, concise, and to the point. Next, take note of high skepticism. This is a red flag. It usually indicates a broke client. Final takeaway, do not be afraid to be aggressive with this. So answer the question and then say, is this worth a chat? You don't have time to waste, right? So screenshot right here of an example. Looks like we're on the same page. I answered this question, then I said, looks like we're on the same page. Is this worth a chat? I could have also said, I could have also answered his question and said, are you free at 2 p.m. tomorrow to discuss? Or would you like to discuss tomorrow at 3 p.m.? Just ask. Ask for the meeting, bring it back to the meeting. Once the leads are meeting ready leads, we can then count them in as deal flow. And that's when you get these nice numbers that look like this in multiple campaigns that you're running multiple times a week. So it's good. It's great. So that is how you convert cold email leads into meetings. This is all you need to know. Now, my offers, if you run a B2B business and you're making above $20,000 a month in MRR, we will build you a custom cold email lead generation machine. We will run it with you for 90 days so you get meetings with the exact fit high ticket buyers. Well, you will retain full ownership of the entire system. So it's the only offer of its kind, so that you can run it yourself forever in the exact way that we do to generate over $250,000 per month in pipeline every single month for our clients. Pay one time, no recurring fees or monthly contracts. You own the system forever. Link is in the description to my website to book a consultation with myself. If you are below 20K a month, but you have budget, meaning you actually have budget, we can discuss setting it up for you. The link to this entire document and the link to my cold email money printing architecture that shows you exactly how to book 10 plus high ticket leads or meetings per month with cold email. The link to both of these things is in the description below. See you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.